on the PWR app, on your smart speakers, and of course, you can watch along on social media, and it is really good to have you with us as well. Now, coming up before 9, we'll have the best review of Pembrokeshire football anywhere on the radio, led by Gordon Thomas in the studio in Haverfordwest, and supported by Tom Dyer, of course. We'll also look at Haverfordwest County's Cup exit, and of course, Hakin United looking like they are taking control in Division 1, and we'll round up all of the rest of the weekend's action. In part 2, our guest tonight will be the Tenby United RFC head of rugby, John Evans, who will be making a welcome return to Pure West Sport to discuss his side's start to the season and also preview an incredibly long trek they'll be making this weekend when they go away to Wrexham. I'll have a look at the Tenby 10K on Saturday and round up some of the Premier League action from the weekend and 1 or 2 talking points as well. Gordon, evening, how are you?
I'm very good, Ben. Quite a good weekend, actually, watching local sport, and it was a good result yesterday as well.
Yeah, chipper you are, Gordon. I mean, I've got to say, I don't think there's a finer moment in football. I'm no Man U fan, but Harry Maguire scoring a last-minute winner at Anfield, even as a neutral, you have to enjoy that, I think.
Oh, definitely. He's had so much stick over the years, and to go to Anfield and score the winner is certainly payback time for Man United and for Harry Maguire. And I think he's our top scorer, to be honest with you, as well. So.
Yeah, I think he does look like United's most dangerous striker at times, doesn't he? Which is a bit of a worry, probably. But yeah, well done to him yesterday. Hi, Tom. How are you?
I'm very well, although I'm not a neutral.
No, you're not. I know.
Oh, you're coming out and saying you're Liverpool now?
To be fair, he has mentioned that before. Yeah, he has mentioned
I'm
that
only
before.
winding him up there.
Yeah, you wouldn't have taken as much pleasure. You wouldn't have enjoyed that Harry Maguire winner.
Stick for the last 9 years, so it's, 1 win.
Yeah, very, very fair. Well, let's stick with football, shall we? And we'll come back to some of those talking points from the weekend, maybe in part 3. But let's start in Pembrokeshire, shall we? And we'll start with the Division 1 title race, and we'll come to the game you were at as well, Gordon. But I mean, talk about a statement of intent. Hakin United, they just look so slick at the start of this season. With a big win, 9-0 away to Kilgetty, who have had some pedigree in recent years, haven't they, as well? So to go there and stick 9 goals past them was some result. Let me just give you the Hakin goal scorers. Ashley Bevan hat-trick, Cameron Brunton with a brace, Cameron Thomas, Kieran King, Jack Britton and Liam Parks. That was a statement win for Hakin, Gordon.
Yeah, Scott Davis will absolutely be delighted, not only with that win, but the start they've had this season. They certainly set out their stall, and they've been in impressive form. You mentioned Ashley Bevan there getting a hat-trick on Saturday. But you also got the defenders chipping in as well. You got Cameron Thomas and Kieran King both scoring in that particular game as well. It must have been a very tough afternoon for Luke Gamble's team, Kilgetty, because when you meet a side in that sort of form, I saw them the previous week at Carew, and they play some really good football. They keep it on the deck and move it around, and it's difficult to stop as well when they're in full flow. And Jack Britton returned to form this week. I've seen the video evidence from Connect Pembrokeshire. Lovely bit of footage that. Shooting from about 30 yards out off the underside of the bar.
Wow.
They got all the tricks. They're going to be a tough team to beat this season. Obviously, we'll move on to the rest of the games if you want to chip in now, Ben.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I'm going to have a quick look at that goal in a sec, actually. So that's on Connect Pembrokeshire, is it? I'll see whether I can see that whilst we're chatting. But yeah, 9-0 win. Let me just tell you what that did for the lead for Hakin at the top of the table. 9 games played, 9 goals scored. Hakin on 24 points, having won 8 of those 9 games and only lost 1. An incredible goal difference at this stage of the season as well, of plus 32. So they lead the table. In second place, though, on 17 points, so 7 behind, are Tenby, and they had a win at Monkton Swifts. Now, Monkton have actually been in really good form as well going into this weekend. So for Tenby to go there and win, Gordon, by 3-1, that was another impressive performance on Saturday.
Yeah, definitely. Moncton were actually leading at half-time. I believe Connor Davis got a goal midway through the first half. But second half performance, obviously Tenby were inspired by Sean Whitfield, who used to play for Carew, who signed for Tenby this season. He bagged a brace. So, that's a good result for them because they've had some difficult games against top opposition, Goodwick and Hakin, the last few weeks, and it hasn't gone their way. And Moncton have been playing very, very good football, scoring lots of goals. Previous Saturday, they scored 12. So they were probably going in as favourites for that particular game. But you've got to hand it to Tenby. They dug in deep and they got a very good 3 points and an excellent 3-1 win at Moncton Lane.
Yeah, indeed. So it means Tenby a second, Moncton a third, with a game in hand and only 1 point behind Tenby. So still all to play for in those positions behind the league leaders. Let's just talk about Goodwick, shall we? Because it's been a tricky start for Goodwick. There's no doubt about it. And they had a difficult afternoon, didn't they? They drew 3-3 with St Ishmael's, who themselves are actually in good form at the moment. But that was a tricky one. In fact, Goodwick had to come from behind to get that point, Gordon.
Yeah, I was actually down there for the opening goal that was scored in about the 38th minute. A lovely ball through the middle, and Joseph Davis got on the end of it and slotted it past Nick Jones for the opener. 1-0 at half-time. You could see at that point that Goodwick were definitely a bit concerned how things were going. It got worse in the second half. Tyler Shield got a second goal, so they were 2-0 down. Rhys Jones actually pulled one back for Goodwick, but lo and behold, the handful of a striker, Tish's handful of a striker, Aaron Hallam, he got a third, 3-1 up. I think it was the 84th minute, Ben, before they were 3-1 up. And then Goodwick pulled one back, and right at the death, 96th minute or 95th minute, Rhys Jones got his second goal, but the more important thing, he got his side a point when 3 points looked lost. Nigel Delaney was very honest after the game when I spoke to him, the Goodwick manager. He said, we just aren't, in these games, we're not putting in the performances that we expect at Goodwick. They have lost a few players, but he was making no excuses whatsoever. And fair play to Tish. Graham Ninnis, manager, is doing a great job. Robbie Thomas, who's heavily involved with them, who were, good stalwarts of Tish, have certainly got them firing on all cylinders when they meet Hakin United this Saturday at the Obs, who they beat at home 3-1 earlier in the season. So that promises it to be quite a tasty local derby to say the least at the Obs.
Yeah, that's an exciting one coming up this weekend, isn't it? So you were there, Gordon, at Goodwick. Yeah. Just sticking with that just for a second. It does feel like a transitional season this now, doesn't it, for Goodwick? They've had a couple of results that, as you say, Nigel Delaney wouldn't be happy with, and fair what you said there. So is it a team in transition? Would you say challenging for the title? Here, let me ask you the question. We'll challenging for the title. Is it going to be beyond them this season, do you think?
It's going to be difficult from where they are now, because let's be honest, Goodwick United went through the whole season last season unbeaten.
Yes.
So when you put that into context to where they are now, it is going to be a difficult hill to climb. When you look at the form that Hakin United are currently in, Tish will be hoping to address that, as I just spoke about earlier. We need Hakin to lose a few games, but by the way they're playing, they're going to take some beating at this moment in time, to be honest with you, Ben.
Yeah, okay.
It's really close to, isn't it?
Yeah, it's good. It's good, Tom.
They've only lost one and they've drawn two. And it's like Hakin are that strong that we can already try and say, well, actually, Hakin are run away. That's incredible, isn't it?
Yeah.
There's still a long way to go, as you say. But, anything can happen in football, as it did in Anfield, Tom, didn't it?
I was listening very carefully there, and I don't think Gordon quite ruled Goodwick out of the title race. So
you can't rule them out, mate.
No.
I said it's going to be an uphill task.
If Nigel and the boys are listening, I don't think he quite went as far as that. So there's still plenty to play for. And look, it's October. There is genuinely still a long way to go in this season.
Long way to go.
I think, having been there, did you also pop to the Fishguard game as well? Because Fishguard got promoted, didn't they? Adjusting to life in Division 1, and they had a 4-1 win over Merlin's Bridge, so I think they deserve a mention.
Game I got to, but there was the goalkeeper, Ben Henton of Merlin's Bridge, kicked the ball out of his hands, and it bounced twice before it went over the Fishguard keeper and into the net. I thought, wow, That is some goal. I'm sure the Fishguard keeper would have been very disappointed to see it bounce twice and then beat him as well, mind. But they came back in strong fashion, mind, Fishguard. The skipper got an equaliser, Patrick Hughes, and it was 1-1 at the break. And after the break, they scored 3 unanswered goals to win 4-1 against the Bridge, who have slipped dramatically down the table. Manager Mike Preddy will be very concerned at this moment in time to address that problem of defeat after defeat. And I believe they're home against Carew this Saturday at the Pembrokeshire 3G pitch at Haverwest High School. Carew haven't had the best of starts themselves, so it's a big game on Saturday.
That is a big game
as far as the bottom end of the table is concerned.
Yeah, let's mention Carew quickly as well, because they haven't had a great start either, and they lost 3-0 at Clarbeston Road. And mention that game, Gordon, because Ben John had a hat-trick for Clarbeston Road in that game, so that was a good win for them as well. And the other game was Penna Robbins 4, Narberth 2. Jack Jones 2 for Penna in that game. Narberth were beaten, so at the bottom of the table, Narberth are in bottom spot. Then it's Kilgetty, both those two on 3 points. Carew, as you say, Gordon, not having a great start. They're on 4, and the Bridge, just above them, having played 7, they're on 7 points. So it's been an exciting first few weeks of the season, and plenty more to come as well. Like you say, let me just do the full rundown of the fixtures for this coming Saturday, because it is an exciting list actually. So Clarbeston Road v Tenby, Fishguard Sports after that win play Penna Robbins. Goodwick United needing a win, they're home to Moncton. And that's a tricky game, isn't it? Then it's Hakin against St Ishmael's, Kilgetty v Narberth, and Merlin's Bridge looking to move up the table, host Carew. So there we are. It's an important weekend coming up for loads of different teams.
Yeah, top and bottom, isn't it? And the middle of the table. That's what made it exciting so far this season, Ben. There's been teams dropping points that weren't expected to drop points, and teams winning games that you weren't expecting to win games. So it's made it a very interesting Division 1 this season, where it's a little bit more closer, which is good to see for the neutral and for us, to be honest with you. It's nice to see everybody competing and not, we had a divide for such a long time. But there's teams in there capable of taking points off each other. And every week it looks as though it's going to be quite interesting how it's all going to pan out. We'll see by Christmas what's going to be really happening, I think.
Yeah, I think so.
You'll have a bit more of a scope of who's going to win the title and who's going to be haunted by relegation.
You didn't quite.
The corner. I thought I'd get that.
You didn't quite rule Goodwick out of the title race, but I have to ask you the other question then. Are anyone going to stop Hakin, Gordon? Because at the moment...
Take some stopping. I said that. Scott Davis is firing on all cylinders. They are the team to beat at this moment in time, yes.
You feel that if anyone finishes above Hakin, they win the league, basically, I'd say.
Well, they would, yeah. Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Okay. Just before we move on, because we'll talk about Haverfordwest County.
Would you say that, Ben?
I don't think anyone will stop Hakin, to be honest.
Okay.
I'm happy to say that right now. I think they look too good at the moment. We shall see, but they're just churning out wins. They're scoring goals as well, and they are. They're in a good moment, aren't they?
They really are. Yeah.
Yeah. I just wanted to mention quickly Division 2 as well, because it was a great weekend for Hakin as a club, because their second team put 8 goals past Solver. So between them, it was a goal fest.
That's Fraser's old team, isn't it, Solver?
I think so. Yeah, maybe they could do with him. Yeah. And there were 2 5-4s, unbelievably, in Division 2 as well. Nayland 4, Camrose 5, and Carew seconds 4. New Hedges, Saundersfoot United 5. So you don't see those very often.
There's a lot of teams with very leaky defences there, Ben, isn't there?
I
need to tighten up.
I think it was a family affair for New Hedges Saundersfoot as well, because Harvey Drummond's hat-trick and Finley Drummond too led them to that.
Both of those players used to play for Carew. I don't know. They could do with them now, couldn't they?
Maybe. Have a look at pembrokeshiresport.co.uk for that full list of results. On Friday night, I think we all had high hopes for Haverfordwest County, didn't we? Going along to Llanelli. Now, Stebenheath has been a tricky place for them to go already this season because they were beaten in the league. But I think they'll be disappointed, because one thing Rob Edwards has said, and Tony Pennock, is they take the Welsh Cup quite seriously. We felt last year they had an opening to win it and it didn't quite go to plan. So they'll be disappointed, I think, as much about the manner of the scoreline, losing 3-0 with quite a strong team, Gord.
Yeah, it's never an easy place to go, Stevenheath. Yeah, I think they will be very disappointed losing by 3 goals to 0 against a team who are at the foot of the Premier League. But, that's football for you, and anything can happen on any given day. And obviously the Reds had a very good evening and the Bluebirds not so good.
Indeed. So they went out of the Welsh Cup and they are in action this Saturday. Tom, away to Connors Quay.
Away to Connors Quay, who are much improved from last season, so it's not going to be the gentlest of road trips for them either, sadly.
No, fair journey that as well, so they'll be looking to bounce back and get a win. All right, we are going to take a moment, and in part 2 tonight, we're going to change the shape of the ball, and we're going to talk local rugby. Head of rugby at Tenby United RFC is John Evans. He'll be making a return to the show. His side had a big win over Kidwelly at the weekend, so we'll talk about that. We'll find out about their journey as well, because they've got to go even further and have for West County, I think, this weekend in the battle of who's going the furthest. They're off to Wrexham, so we'll talk about the logistics of that, and we'll also just look at how the club are doing as well, with some promising players in the Tenby development team as well. So we'll do that in part 2 on Pure West Sport this evening.
Eaton-Evans and Morris Solicitors have